Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. I am so excited today because it's time to talk about the new Acqua di Gio Profondo 2024. Not to be confused with the new Acqua di Gio Profondo 2024, because that new one is a parfum. This is the eau de parfum, totally different. Armani is doing their own thing this year. They're just basically like, hey, that whole Acqua di Gio line, yeah, let's just turn that on its head. That'd be pretty fun. Let's do that. So I found the new Acqua di Gio Profondo Eau de Parfum 2024 in Europe. Frankly, paid way too much for it, and I got it in a few days ago. I've been wearing it side by side with the original Profondo, and now it's time for me to let you guys know what I think about it. If it's different or the same, and if it is different, if it's better or worse, what other people think about it, just the whole deal. And I have to point out one thing here that immediately made me just go, it's this. Okay, it's the bottle's little. It's small, it's a baby. Yeah, it's a little 30 ml size. This is the only size that I could find it in for European store shipping to the US as of when I placed the order. So a little itty bitty 30 ml. At the time I placed the order, I thought, maybe that's a typo or something like that because it said 1 ounce, because they had come in this size, 40 milliliters, 1.35 ounces. And I thought, it's probably that, right? No, 30 milliliters. So it is a tiny little herpy derpy bottle. Before we start talking about this fragrance, guys, I do want to point really quickly to my extra channel, Extra Gents Scents. I've got more fragrance content on there, including reviews and lists, so make sure to check that channel out as well. Just type it in on the YouTube search. Let's go ahead, guys, and start things off by taking a look at the presentation here of this very small bottle. So use your imagination. Think of this as a bottle this size and translate the look from here to there in your mind, okay? So here we have the box. On the front, you've got the name of the house, name of the fragrance, the size, the concentration. On one side, you have information on this being a refillable bottle. Yay, a refillable 30 milliliter bottle. I guess it could actually be good for travel. There is that. On the other side, you have what, honestly, when you look at it, will just look like a jumbled mess of words. So this is a bunch of different languages, obviously. It says, refillable exclusively with Acqua di Gio Profondo. Don't rinse the bottle with water. So now you know. Giorgio Armani logo up top. On the back, you have your ingredient information and your barcode. And on the bottom, your badge code. Mine is 38X801S, which is actually from late 2023. So they have had these in production for a minute, just not available up until now. Here we have the bottle, again, very small and petite. It has a new design with the gradient, darker up top and then clearer toward the bottom. I think it does look better actually than the original Profondo bottle. Some people will obviously disagree on that one, but I like the look here. Giorgio Armani logo up top, and then you have the sticker on the bottom with your badge code. And the cap clicks quite snugly into place. Little Giorgio Armani on top of the atomizer as well. Let's go ahead and do a couple sprays. Now this little 30 ml is got a pretty powerful spray, so here we go. Yeah, you can just hear it. Very concentrated blast from that one. I guess we should spray out original Profondo as well. Hello, OG Profondo. Before we start talking the fragrance, here are a bunch of codes that you can use if you shop online at any of these sites to save yourself some money. The newest code is for the perfume box. You can save 10% off with code GENTSCENTS. And of course, you got GS11 for fracflex.com and all the other goodies as well. All right, guys, moment of truth. How does the new Profondo Eau de Parfum 2024 smell? Well, first, I guess a quick talk about the OG Profondo here. If you follow the channel for any length of time, you know that Profondo is at this point my favorite of the bunch. This is the Acqua di Gio of choice for me right now. This is the one that I wear most often. If you ask my wife about Acqua di Gio, she's probably going to be thinking about this one because it's the one that gets used the most, like I just said. So the original Profondo has that Acqua di Gio DNA in it, that Acqua di Gio Eau de Toilette DNA, but I find it more modern, more masculine because it doesn't have those floral notes supporting it. Instead, it's more of a mineral take on Acqua di Gio. It has a nice green edge to it as well. So it has in there rosemary and cypress, for example, adding to that aromatic touch that it has, that green feel, a little bit of woodiness in there as well. The opening of Profondo, very uplifting, very clean, fresh, has an aquatic feel to it with supporting citrus notes off the top. And again, my favorite. So first question to be answered here, does Acqua di Gio Profondo 2024 just smell the same as Acqua di Gio Profondo? Essentially, is this just a rebottling of this with everything else staying the same? Same fragrance, same notes, same projection, same longevity, all of that staying the same and just changing to this slick new bottle. My answer to that, no. It does not smell the exact same as the original Profondo. So now, what are the differences? And is it better or worse? Well, I guess I will present this with one caveat, and that is, depending on how you perceive the fragrance, you may find these to be very, very similar. Other people will think they are very, very different. And I'll use this as an example really quickly. Acqua di Gio Profumo and the new Parfum. Most people, not all, but most people would agree, yes, Parfum smells different from Profumo. Maybe not massively different, but there are differences. But then you'll have some people who say, no, they're pretty much the same. And then you'll still find other people who say they are drastically different. I just bring that up because for sure, 100%, there will be people that get this and say, it's the same. I mean, it's like 99% the same. Then you'll have other people who say, oh, dude, completely different. They changed this, and this, clearly. But the majority of people, I believe, are going to find this different, but close enough that it's not a difference where you go, oh, night and day, massive. But yeah, clearly, to me, there are differences. It's very noticeable off the top. Again, to me, I had a few other people check them as well, and they all agreed, yes, there are differences here. They don't smell the exact same. Could part of that be down to this being a bottle from when it was first launched and this being a new bottle from when this was first launched? Possibly, but I don't think so. I think that there actually is a change here. So let's get into what the change is. When you first spray these on side by side, the new iteration is a bit fresher. It's a bit sweeter. I think that honestly, to most people, this one is probably gonna be a little bit more appealing. So let me just spray it on right now. A couple sprays over here, a couple sprays over here. Let it just settle for half a second here. With the original, there is a little more of a green undertone that you pick up right away. In this 2024 edition, it's like that green aspect has been scrubbed even cleaner. It's fresher, it's brighter, it's a bit sweeter. The citrus comes through more clearly in the new one. It's like it's extremely lightly candied, but in a really pleasant way. As they dry down, the new iteration stays fresher. It stays a bit cleaner. The minerality is not as pronounced actually in the new one for me. And while it still has some supporting green notes there, it's not a focal point as much as it is in the original Profondo. And I think you can see that at least in the advertised notes here. So the advertised notes in the new Profondo have been cleaned up a little bit. Marine notes and green mandarin off the top. That's pretty in line with the original one, although the original had bergamot as well. And then in the mid of the new one, lavender, rosemary. That's it. So that removes the cypress and the mastic from the mid of the original, at least as far as the note breakdown goes. And I do want to drive home right now that these notes that I'm giving you guys are the notes that are being advertised in the listing for this. So is it possible that we get a full note breakdown and it's pretty much the same as this one a little bit later on? That's possible, but these are the notes that Armani is advertising this fragrance with. Then in the base of the new one, cedar and patchouli, which with this one over here, the minerality was a focus. There was also amber, musk, and patchouli, no cedar. So you can see there that the note breakdown has been streamlined a little bit with this new one. And then in the base, you do have that difference. And I think that is one of the more noticeable things here, that minerality has been dialed back That green aspect has been dialed back. The sweetness has been bumped up a little bit. The freshness has been bumped up a little bit. And one thing that a lot of people will probably very much enjoy here, I didn't have an issue with this, just to put this out there right away, but some people with Profondo would get that kind of eggy smell. Now again, I don't get that, but Acqua di Gio Essenza, it was plagued by some people saying, oh, there's like a weird underlying something in there that doesn't work for me. Most often people would point to it and be like, oh, eggs. Again, for like the third time in the last 5 seconds. I never got that. But I know that there is an underlying something in Acqua di Gio Profondo, just like in Essenza and other Acqua di Gio fragrances, and frankly, other aquatic fragrances that some people just can't jive with. That has been pretty much completely scrubbed free in the new one. I think that's the most noticeable change here. In the mid, if you smell these side by side, again, to me, there is clearly a difference between what's in this bottle and what's in this bottle. And it does not, to me, come across like, oh, well, this is just, you know, a bottle from mid 2020 or whatever, and this is one from late 2023, but it's the same fragrance. It doesn't come across that way. It does come across to me like this is a tweak of this. And it does feel to me like they've taken this one, or taken this one, I guess, and scooted it a little bit further to what they think is gonna be more popular nowadays. Now again, these are just first impressions, but I did have a number of different people check these out side by side, my wife included. She actually smelled these a number of times. And believe it or not, this was a runaway winner. My wife likes Acqua di Gio Profondo a lot, but she kept going to this one and saying, that one's better. They have made it better. And that was something she made a snap decision on. I had her smell them. The first time I pulled this out and sprayed the other one. And I said, hey, here's the new one, check it out. Do you think they're different at all? What do you think? And she was like, the new one is better. It's sweeter. I like it more. Boom. Her mind was set. Every other time I had her check them out, she kept going back to this one. Same thing with some of her friends that checked these out. This one, this one, this one. I don't think it's a massive difference, but I do think the changes they made make it, like I said earlier, more appealing to people, because that aspect of Profondo that was a little bit heavier in the mid, that green aromatic woodiness with that minerality underneath that's in this one, for some people that didn't work as well. But with this one, again, it's cleaned up, it's freshened up, it's sweetened up, and I think that's going to appeal to more people. Massive difference? No. People are still gonna be able to tell, if you like Profondo a lot, that this is an iteration of Profondo. An improvement though? For everyone else, yes. For me, also yes. Yeah, I actually really love this stuff. It smells awesome. Part of that could be because I've been wearing this one mainly as my Acqua di Gio of choice for years, and now it's like, hey, something a little different. It's a tweak. It's not a massive change, but I really, really like this stuff. It smells great. It's just massively appealing, so easy to wear, and maybe even more in line with what people would think of with Acqua di Gio, in the sense of freshening things back up again, livening it back up again. Not that Profondo is not fresh, it's just this one is fresh. And then that takes me to the performance. So you may think, well, this one might be a little weaker than this one based off of the things you're telling me, the little changes that have been made here, but this has been outperforming that. Not massively, mind you, but I did have a few different people while I was having them compare these say the new one, it's stronger. I can pick it up easier, it's clearer. And I noticed that as well. When I was wearing it, I would do equal sprays, make sure that everything was done equally, which I have to be a little careful with, because this is kind of a very concentrated blast. And then this one is not. That one disperses a little more, but I kept it as absolutely even as I could with these two. And I also noticed that this one seemed to be outperforming this one by just a little bit. Projected a little heavier at first, lasts a little bit longer as well. Now for sure, there will be people out there that prefer the original Profondo, that don't like the changes that have been made here. They're not massive changes, but they are changes. But there will for sure be people that prefer this one, just like there will be people that prefer this one. I would say if you're worried about this one, then you could pick up a backup of this one, because obviously this iteration is going away, being replaced with this, by this rather. But from where I'm standing, I love both of these. And I am glad that if this is going to be replaced, it's by this. Because man, it would suck if this was an awful iteration of that. Thankfully, it is not. It smells awesome, at least if you're an Acqua di Gio fan. And just to wrap things up, it's not that this is devoid of any form of minerality or green aspects. They're just obviously dialed down compared to this one. And in the dry down, when you look at those notes that they presented, again, cedar, patchouli, that kind of lets you know the direction that they took this one. It is more of a modern, clean, woody dry down as compared to Profondo over here that had more of that lingering green aspect from the mid, that muskiness, that minerality, that amber that's in here. That has, again, kind of been scrubbed out. You could think of it that way, for better or for worse. For me, for better, but for some of you out there, yeah. So there we go, new Profondo 2024. Guys, if you're looking forward to this one, I think a lot of you are gonna be pleasantly surprised, at least as much as you can be when something that is beloved is going through a change. Because it's never easy to change, is it? So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Thank you. You don't know. I was like, please don't suck. I also got in the new Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum 2024, so I will have a video on that very shortly as well. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.